Hello, hello. Testing mic. Can you test your mic for me? Yours is not working. Bear with us, folks. We are getting Natalie's mic up and running. How is everyone doing today? Can you give me another test?
Test.
I think you're good. Mic check. All right. Welcome back to the October horror bracket, the grand finale.
Finally,
We did it.
we did
It
it.
really felt like work, didn't it?
It was really hard to do. I'm trying to find my list. I'm sorry.
So hard
It was
for
really
us
hard.
to watch movies.
And it was like
I'm being sarcastic, but it was actually
no, it
difficult.
was really hard. And I feel like there were points where it was honestly painful to like put a movie on. Like it was the last thing in the whole wide world I wanted to do.
Yeah, maybe we should just space it out a little bit better next
Yeah,
time.
totally.
But yeah, for those that are joining us, feel free to drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. The audio version will go up whenever I feel like it, and I will be adding chapters to the description again when I feel like it. Thank you, Carlos, for joining us live. Hopefully, we get a couple more that trickle in. But yeah, today we have a lot to cover.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the last week of movies that we watched, and then we're going to fill out the bracket and determine a winner. I think it's going to be really interesting because the way that we're rating the movies and the way that we differ means that the best movie might not win,
Right.
but the best horror movie will.
Yeah.
Just to lay out the ground rules, when we have a disagreement, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when we have a disagreement, and neither of us are going to budge. We will be putting it to a coin toss. It will not be a public vote. Sorry, excuse my extremely
Very
bright
bright.
screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, without further ado, where did we leave off last time? The last movie we talked about was what, Cube?
Yes.
So the next movie we will be talking about is Get Out, which is a pretty awesome movie.
Oh, I thought we watched Saw first. Did we watch Get Out first?
I have it
trust
marked
you.
as Get Out first on the 28th, and then the 29th we did the Saws.
The days have blurred together.
Anyway, yeah, Get Out. I loved it. I liked it the first time I saw it. I ended up liking it a lot more. The second time I saw it, I think it's even better the second time around. Natalie, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, I think
tell us about entertainment.
This was the second time I had watched it. The first time I watched it, I don't remember liking it that much. I thought it was just fine. Like I understood like what they were trying to do.
Thank you, Shipley, for joining us.
But I don't know. I didn't love it the first time, and this time I really, really liked it. It was like way better on the rewatch, I thought. So I gave it a 3 out of 4 for entertainment. I think it's just a fun and new take on a scary movie because spoiler alert, I wouldn't call this movie scary. I didn't think it was scary, but the concept, I guess, is just so disturbing that it is scary. And I don't know, I think everybody in it is perfectly cast, except I don't like the brother. I think he's a pointless character in the movie, like 100%. But I liked, I don't know, just even like the side characters that you don't think you would care about were like amazing, and just everything was really thought about in this movie, and that's not something you typically see in a horror movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my the entertainment kind of ties into the writing, which comes off later. Carlos said he had a lacrosse stick. Yeah, he's definitely a lacrosse boy.
Yeah, but
Um, but
worst.
yeah, I mean, the movie's just immensely entertaining. It's better the second time around when you know where it's going. Sam said it's one of my personal favorites, kind of a horror psychological thriller
Yeah,
blend.
and when looking at it from that point, I guess it is scary.
Yeah.
But
Um, but yeah, I mean, when you know where the movie is going, I think it makes the movie even more enjoyable because it's
yeah,
like a perfect script. I mean,
yeah,
watching this movie, um, everything is set up. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but everything that is set up is paid off later. Clever setups that aren't in your face.
right.
And I mean, the movie is an allegory for racism, and I think it's the least cringy
It is the
version
least
of
cringy. I
that,
would
you
say it's
know?
still very in your face. Like you know what they're talking about. It's not hidden, which
Yeah.
like it doesn't need to be hidden, you know?
But I think what makes it work is that it works on multiple levels,
Yeah.
you know, and it's really just a great Twilight Zone episode, kind of with racist
It
elements
really
to it,
is.
you
And I
know?
think one of my favorite parts of this movie, like the tiny details they do, is like when everybody's like just sitting and like they're obviously doing the auction for who's going to take over this guy, but they're using like bingo cards because like on the off chance he were to like walk over there, like, oh, they're just playing bingo, you know? Like small things like that. Because like, yeah, how do you explain that, you know? If you do
Yeah.
just roll up
No,
to an
I mean it's just
auction.
it's a well-produced movie. It's got style, it's got very unique moments to it.
Yeah.
And it's just a great concept. I think um the script is what carries it. The script and good performances, which I guess is what makes a movie. The direction is pretty good as well. I mean, it's
Yeah.
average direction. It's Jordan Peele's first movie, um,
Which is great for him.
which is
It's his
insane.
best one also.
Right. So yeah, I also gave it a 3 out of 4 for entertainment. I think
I
it's immensely entertaining.
I will say though, I hate how the sunken place looks.
You don't like
I
it?
don't like it. I get that it's supposed to feel kind of like gimmicky because like what does that feel like to be trapped inside your own body?
Yeah.
But I just don't like it.
I feel like I used to agree with you, but for whatever reason, when we watched it recently, I enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is like it's not
It's way
scary.
too literal, I think.
It's just very like sci-fi out there, and it kind of
Yeah.
takes it eliminates the tension. Like it's a very good visual
It
representation,
is.
but it's not like creepy at all.
No, it just seems like cheesy. It seems not, which like another one of his movies, Us. I think when they're in the funhouse and like that's like the switch that happens, I think that's done really like you don't see the switch happen, but you know it happened. In this one, it's like he literally is in a sunken place, and I don't like it. It kind
It
of
looks
takes
cool.
away. It doesn't though.
I disagree. I
It
think it
looks
looks
like he is
awesome.
on ropes and he's
I don't know. I
blowing
think
through.
it's a
I don't like
pretty
it.
I
It's
think
not.
it's pretty
It's
awesome.
pretty iconic, but it's I don't I don't enjoy it very much. Like look at that. That just doesn't look good to me. He did a great job acting down there. He looked very scared. I just hate it. It looks like Kanye rising out of his last thing.
I hear you. What did you think about the scare slash kills?
Um, what did I say? Oh, 1 out of 4. Again, I don't think it's scary. The concept of being trapped in someone's body is scary. So like, I think that would be like if I was just like stuck, but like you were acting me out. Like, yeah, that's scary. That feels kind of claustrophobic-y scary. But like, I don't think it's scary. I don't think it's a scary movie. I think it's a good movie. It's not scary. And I put that white people are pretty scary. Like, I think that's
Yeah,
a good
I almost
takeaway.
I wonder if like a black person would find this movie
Right.
scarier.
And like that's I understand that as a white person that there's reasons why I don't think
Right,
this is
like
as
I wonder if they would find it they'd probably find it more like
disturbing,
relatable,
relatable. Yeah.
but I'm not sure that they'd find it scary because it's more
Sure.
of like it's like a sci-fi
It
thriller,
is.
but there's some great kills at the end, which I think it contributes to my score. I mean, they're
The
okay.
Baki ball kill is just
Yeah,
with the pointless brother immediately dies. I think if you're looking at it from like the literal like this did happen to like African American, like their word, like their thoughts and everything were taken from them. And so like I think you would connect more. As again a very privileged person who has not gone through this, it was just kind of like not scary to
But
me.
yeah, talking about just scary slash kill,
Yeah,
and like Sam said, it's amazing that a guy who came from comedy made this movie, because I do think it has creepy moments, The Omen, and there are creepy moments, but I also think there are moments that are trying to be creepy that
again,
aren't creepy.
maybe we just watch too many horror movies. I don't think The Omen is scary. I think it's predictable and overused, where it's like the music and like what is it? I hate that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, like, yeah,
But
you bring
again,
up a good point. We're a little bit
maybe
desensitized at
if I
this
hadn't
point.
watched 30 movies before this
Um,
movie, it would be
but
different.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that scary either.
And I don't think it's
I'd give
supposed
it
to
like
be.
I'd give it a 1 out of 4
That's
for
what I give
scare
it.
slash kills as
Mhm.
well. You know, I originally had it as a 2, but now that we're talking about it, it probably is a 1. It's not necessarily a super scary movie. It's just a really well made movie with good
It is.
atmosphere.
It is. And that's it. The mood. Like Sam said, there's not really traditional jump scares, but it's a suspense standpoint,
That's what I'm
which
saying though.
is
It's like
fair.
it's extremely suspenseful. I'll
Yeah.
give it that.
And
That's
it
that's
sets
what
really good
shines.
moods and
But
stuff.
I don't necessarily know if suspense equals scary.
Well,
I
then
mean, they're
I have
kind.
to change a lot of scores
That's
because
what I'm
I
saying.
was
So
dying
how
from.
are we? So I
I
don't know
still give
how
it a
to.
1. I still didn't feel like it was super suspenseful. Like, and even the part where he like realizes and he's like, "Get the keys, babe, get the keys." Like, that's not. He like gives up so quick because he knows he's like fucked. Like, how do you get out of there? You know, it's four
You know
against
what?
one.
I changed my mind again. It's a 2 out of 4. It's a 2 out of 4 because if we're counting suspense, which I think we should,
I
then it's a
agree.
2 out of 4.
I still keep mine at a 1. If we could do 0.5s, I would give it a 1.5, but I'm keeping mine at a 1.
Well, that's not the world we live in, is it?
That's why I said I'm keeping it at a 1.
Writing slash acting.
I gave it a 2 out of 2. It deserves a 2 out of 2. It's a great movie. I really like this movie, and I liked it so much better this time than the first time. I also watched it with my mom the first time, and you know, the only thing she could focus on was the fucking Fruit Loop scene. So I mean, it was a different atmosphere
I,
watching it this time
I
for
love
sure.
that part. It's such a
So did
great little
she. She
psycho
thought it was
touch.
like, oh man, that is crazy, and I'm like,
She
okay,
that yeah that she that actress busts out the big guns
yeah.
towards the end of that movie when she goes full psycho. She's like
No, she's
terrifying.
crazy. But I think as a white chick, we white chicks are scary, honestly.
They be drinking milk.
And plant milk only. We don't drink cow's milk. But yeah, and every single actor in this movie is phenomenal.
Okay, so Sam, he just pointed out the no 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 scene. So that scene, I think when you know what's happening, it's better. Like when you know that there's a person trapped in there and they can't get out, that concept is very
That's true.
scary
They're kind of like
and
fighting.
the idea of it is very scary, but I still think that's one of like the cheesiest moments of the
I do
movie. I
too.
don't think it's a
Because
scary
do you
scene.
know why it's so cheesy? It's because when you saw anything for Get Out, that's what you see. You see her like smiling and saying no. The trailer had it. Like if
I
you
didn't watch it. I didn't see any of the
it's
marketing
it
material.
was all okay. So for me, it was like literally all over was her no 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 scene.
I just didn't find it scary, and it was trying to be scary. And when I think of this movie and I think of moments that were unsuccessfully scary, I think that's the moment that I go to. But like I said, when you know what's going on,
Yeah.
conceptually, it's a very scary idea. Like the
No,
scariest part of
absolutely.
this movie is and
Is
I
what
said
it's
that to
about.
you,
Yeah.
is the scariest part of the movie is the idea that there's a piece of that person trapped.
Yes, because argue the part at the very end where it's the grandpa who like comes out. Like I think that part is like the most haunting part where he was like holy shit and then like kills the girl and then kills himself because like even though he's like back to normal, there is no normal.
Yeah.
Like this is the end,
Yeah,
you know.
so I think conceptually.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, going back to writing slash acting, um, yeah, it's a perfect
It's
two
a
out of
yeah,
two.
it's
It's
fantastic.
this movie. The reason I love this movie so much, the reason I have it at an 8 out of 10 is because from a screenwriting standpoint, it's a perfect script. It's a perfect screenplay. Every single thing that is set up has a satisfying payoff. There's great little moments throughout. I mean, the ideas are great, the way
Mhm.
that the momentum is great, the way that they go from one scene to the next, the actions that the characters take.
Yeah.
Literally the only part that might be a little bit too drawn out is like when the TSA guy goes to the police and they're like laughing at
Oh
him.
yeah.
That's they could have cut that whole scene.
Absolutely.
Beyond that, it's a perfect script and Yeah, I and
No,
the
it's
acting is
the
is perfect
brother. I
throughout.
hate the brother. Every time I watch it, I'm like, God, he's pointless. He doesn't do one single thing that makes the movie anything.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of balances out the family and makes you a little bit more. I don't know. He plays a role because when you first watch the movie, you're like, okay, well,
He's
he's
just a
clearly
racist
racist,
asshole.
but like
Yeah.
the rest of the family seems like they don't like him, so maybe they're not racist. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you
Like,
think it's part of the gimmick? Like, do you think if this family was real, like he acts like that, so it makes the rest of the family seem
I don't
better?
think it's a strategy.
Oh,
I think he's just the racist
he's a drunk,
sibling.
so he can't hide it as well as everyone else.
Yeah, I just think he doesn't. Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't fucking care as much
Again,
about the game.
useless. Don't like him.
Um, so yeah, I mean, total score, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Mine's a 6 out of 10.
You gave it a 6. So
Mhm.
pretty pretty awesome movie. Like I said, I
Yeah,
think it's better the second time around.
it absolutely is.
Jimmy, thank you for joining us. Thank you for ditching your chat for this. For the grand finale, the bracket get okay. So the next Get Out is going up against the next
Which
movie.
we're counting as one, correct?
Yeah, so this is the only time in this bracket where
We
we
actually went through with the double
actually
feature.
oh, except for It, we did the It
Oh,
double
we did.
feature. But yeah, so we wanted to put Saw up here. We picked two Saw movies. We picked 5 and 6,
Yeah.
which are not
It's
necessarily
they're
the
pretty interesting
best,
choices. Yeah.
but they represent what makes the story good.
I think out of every single Saw movie, these two like wanted to be one movie,
Yes.
but they divided, and that doesn't really happen anywhere
Yeah,
else.
so Saw is definitely a series that um all of the movies kind of take place in like a week of real time. Like they all take place like
Do they?
very I mean they all take place pretty soon. Yeah, I mean it might be a little bit more,
Listen, I
but
don't
like
know much about
a
the lore.
big chunk of the movies takes place like right after
Sure.
each other.
And this is kind of the kickoff for that, though, I feel.
Well, no, because 3 and 4 take place
Oh, you're
simultaneously, and
right.
2 takes place not long after 1. So they all kind of take place like
Yeah,
really.
okay. I just didn't think about it that much because it's fucking Saw, you know?
But I mean, I'm gonna say a couple spoilers just cause I mean, who cares?
I
It's
was
Saw.
gonna say the only one that we probably are not gonna do spoilers are is Antlers because that's very new.
Yeah,
So we
but
won't
I
say
mean,
much
like
about
no one
that one.
cares about Saw
No,
spoilers anyway. But
everybody's seen Saw.
For those that don't know, in Saw 4, they introduced this character of an FBI agent that turns out to be working with Jigsaw,
He's
and
got the
he was
most
working
kissable
with
lips.
Yeah, and he's been working with Jigsaw since the very beginning. They introduced this character. In Saw 5, that's kind of where we get the bulk of his story. So like you learn about like how he was threaded through the narrative. They show you tons of flashbacks of like, oh, he was actually there during this scene, and yada yada yada.
Hmm.
And so 5 and 6 are kind of like his storyline and how he interacts with the story,
Hmm.
which is important because after Jigsaw dies, he's the main bad guy. He takes over basically after Jigsaw dies in Saw 4.
Right, and he's not a good bad guy.
So that's why we picked these two movies.
They're
Um,
also like our favorite too, because yours favorite is
I like Saw
4,
6 a lot.
6, and my favorite's 5. Then
You like 5 a lot, yeah.
I do like 5 a lot.
So let's talk about the entertainment value. Again, we're talking about both these movies simultaneously.
Mm.
If you had to rope them together, what would you say for
I
entertainment?
give them both like together as one movie. They're 3 out of 4. I think Saw movies are super fun movies. They're super easy to throw on. They're super because even if you catch like 5 minutes here and there, like it's fun. It's a fun 5 minutes here and there. Like because again, we just talked that there's like a lot of plot and stuff, but like the average person is really not watching a Saw movie for like the scary fun plot. You
No.
know what I'm saying? So it's very different. Um, I said that I love the Kiss You Live guy, and I think he's fantastic. He's not a great actor, but I adore him. And the coworker ring around is fantastic. I think that is
The
like
carousel scene in Saw 6.
one of my favorite scenes and the whole franchise. And I also love when he gets in his little glass box coffin. I think that's so fucking
At
funny.
the end of
It's
Saw
so
5.
fucking funny.
Yeah.
And that the endings of both of these movies
Stellar.
fantastic.
Stellar.
So
Both
good.
of the endings, yeah, the endings for both of these movies are like perfect.
Just the best imagery.
Probably
in
the
these
best
movies.
endings of all the
You
movies
have
except for Saw 1.
such a low rating for Saw 5.
I hate Saw 5.
Okay. Saw 5 is the one where, if you guys don't know, it starts with like 5 people. It starts with 6 people.
Yeah.
And then it slowly like they have to like kill them off, but they find out at the end that they didn't.
Yeah, they go through like a hallway of rooms together. And the reason that the dislike. So Saw 5 I think is the most interesting story-wise because it does develop this new
Yeah,
villain
that's where
and I
the
think
biggest twist.
he's really fun to watch. I think yeah, I think he's like really interesting and the way that he's recruited is the highlight of this series is how they deal with the apprentices and Jigsaw and the ideology and yada yada yada
Yeah.
and how the traps evolve throughout time. But I do think that the traps are boring in Saw 5, and I think the characters are like inexcusably dumb in Saw 5. The acting is terrible in every Saw movie. It's just what you have to
Yeah,
deal
the
with.
acting's not fair.
But I think that just like
I
that
don't think
element
the
of the movie
traps
is
are
bad.
bad.
I think
I
they're
don't
so
think the traps are
boring.
bad. I think that's
The
wrong. I think
glass and the electric
Can I
and
talk?
it's yeah, go for
Thank
it.
you. I don't think it's bad. I think that they are done. They're purposely easier traps because 5 people are supposed to make it out alive. They're allowed to make it out alive. This is the last big thing that Jigsaw put together before he died, and he put the other guy in charge of it. So it's like he still wants everybody to live, even though the other guy doesn't. So they're not going to be super hard because 5 people have to make it. You're right. The guy with the glasses is like a useless fucking character, and he's just like unrealistically. He's like the guy from the Cube. He's
He's
just
so evil.
unrealistically evil for
Yeah.
no reason.
Like he fucks everything up just because
Yeah.
he like doesn't want to talk.
Yeah.
But
The
he's like
worst.
also like the smartest guy in the room.
Right. It's just annoying. And I don't know. I think they're great. I think the kills happen. I really love this movie. I think that they focus less on the traps in this movie because the traps were
True.
not the main part
True.
of this
Yeah,
movie.
you're one. That's the only reason why I like this movie
Right.
is because it's really not.
No.
That's not the centerpiece
The
of this
traps
movie.
are the side plot, and the main plot is like everything else going on. And I think
Yeah.
everything else going on makes up for like the lack of good.
Yeah,
traps.
and the ending is about the side plot, and it's done so.
It's done really well.
It's
And
so awesome. The
I
glass
l-
box scene is like 10 out of
but
10.
that yeah.
Not this scene.
No. He's like in a coffin. Shouldn't have done that though.
Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done that. And the best part is when he lifts up his hand though, and like half his hand is like dripping off. Tell me that's not good. Tell me that's not a good movie.
It's whatever. But grouping them together because I think the entertainment value in I think Saw 6 is like best of both worlds where I think the story is interesting. I don't think the story of the insurance guys is interesting. I think watching Detective Hoffman behind the scenes is interesting and I think the traps are good.
I disagree.
Like this trap I think is interesting.
It's not.
The pick one I think is good. The
It's
carousel
not.
is good.
You're joking. You're joking.
What?
You think the pick one is better than any of the traps in Saw 5?
Yeah, I think it's more memorable.
But it's boring.
You literally said that trap is what you think about the most.
Yeah, because I'm like, if like Tyler's here and my mom is here, who the
Right.
fuck would I pick?
Exactly.
Okay, but that's like a thing for everything. Like if your mom and your dog are drowning, who do you save?
Right, but I'm saying it's still memorable.
It's no.
You said it yourself.
Okay, well I take it back. This trap sucks because it's destined to kill the other guy.
Well, yeah,
There's
that's
no
the thing.
way for the
That's
other
the
guy
thing
to
about
win.
Saw 6 is in Saw 6, like certain people are definitely destined to die.
Right.
Like even the
Fuck that.
carousel trap, 4 people have to die. There's no way to save everyone.
Yeah, I love that scene, and I love that guy at the end who just gets pissed and tells them how it is.
Yeah, he reminds me of Daniel Tosh.
Who is
Tosh
that?
Point oh?
Oh no. Have you seen Will and Grace?
No. But the gay guy, one of the gay guys in that? Yeah.
Not Will.
Entertainment, I'd give it a 3 out of 4. Do you want to talk about scare/kills?
Jimmy just said I love it when they argue.
Thanks, Jimbo.
It's scare/skills. I gave it 2 out of 4, and all I put was it's a Saw movie. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
there's nothing super memorable. I think the squishing is gross because like anybody getting squished is really nasty.
You're talking about when the walls close.
Yes, that's scary.
Which, if you've ever seen that in a movie and you wonder, what would that look like?
they show you everything.
Yeah, the end of Saw 5 has a room squish.
Yeah, and it's a graphic room squish. And what else is gross? There's really not a lot of.
Carousel scene.
But that's just great shot.
The opening to Saw 6 is the arm.
They cut.
That's a pretty memorable
where he's like
scene.
cutting off his stomach and then she just.
The
whacks
opening
off
to
her
Saw
arm.
5 with the cube that we're seeing here on the left side of the screen.
I hate that where he just jabs the thing in and then can't
It's
breathe.
stupid but memorable.
But I do love when he comes. They're like, we have one survivor, and Kissy Lips is like, what? I love that shit.
Can we pull up a photo?
Please look at Kissy Lips. I love
Detective Hoffman Saw. This man's lips, he invented duck lips.
They are so.
He's
kissable.
got the most kissable lips.
Tell me you wouldn't kiss that man. Tell me you wouldn't kiss that man.
This man is always ready for a smooch.
Always. Just there's the glass box. love that box.
He
But
is
like,
always ready for a
tell me
big
you
smooch.
wouldn't kiss that man just to know. Like, what do those lips feel like?
Those fucking
Those
lips.
lips. All right. Back to my comments.
Yeah, 2 out of 4 for me as well.
Um,
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's a
right
Saw
down the middle.
movie.
Yeah, it's like perfectly average. If you're looking for saw traps and you haven't seen these movies in a while, you'll be satisfied. I've seen these movies so many times
That's it,
that I'm
right?
so desensitized, but I think 2 out of 4 is fair. And then writing slash acting,
Bro, you already know it's a 1 out of 2.
yeah, I give it the softest 1 out of 2
Hmm.
because the acting is dog shit. The
It's
acting
not
is
good.
0,
It's not good.
but the writing is fine.
I put the only reason to watch is the last 2 minutes. As any, it literally says you won't believe how it ends. Like Saw knows the only thing they got going for them are the endings of these movies, and then I put acting is actually dummy bad. Like it is really atrocious what they think
Yeah,
acting is.
that's the thing is anytime you recommend Saw to anybody, you have to emphasize hard that the acting is dog shit. Because every time you watch these movies, you realize
Hmm?
that you remember, oh, this is a bad movie,
Yeah,
right? You
but
have to
it gets
go in with that.
as I've gotten older and I've seen these movies more and I've become more desensitized to like the gross and the horror. I'm like, fuck, this sucks. Like this is not a
Yeah,
good movie. It's
yeah,
not good,
yeah.
but I love it. It's not as good as the seventh one.
So Saw 7 is the last one, and it's the
Crazy.
worst
Is
of
that the one?
it's the worst of
Mhm.
the entire series. Saw 7 is terrible.
Yeah.
They strip away all style from the direction, and the acting and writing fall to a 0 out of 10.
The cover for Saw 5 is actually phenomenal. I'm like,
Oh, it's
that's the
great.
first time I've ever seen it.
Right, because it's Hoffman taking the role of Jigsaw.
That is so
I'm
good.
telling you, like
What the
conceptually,
fuck?
like these movies have great moments in term. Like Jigsaw's story is interesting. Is what
Yeah.
I'm trying to get at. It's
Yeah,
not
the
just
lore.
torture
The
porn.
lore of
There's
Saw
great
is
lore.
great.
There's great lore throughout.
Yeah, he's a family man and he's just trying to seek revenge on people who've done it. Also, Sam said soft one for soft lips, and I love that. I think
Yeah,
that is so
yeah,
funny.
I'd give it a 1 just for that man's
Just for the man's
kissable lips.
kissable lips, man. So that
Um,
gives me a 6 out of 10 again
and it
for
gives
Saw.
me a 6 out of 10. Now we have the duty
Mm.
of,
I gave both a 6.
well, I gave Get Out the Edge.
That you did though. I don't
Right.
know
Well,
if
so
Get Out
you
gets
have to
the edge.
determine your personal
I
winner.
know, and I don't know if Get Out gets the edge. I feel like it deserves it. I would feel sad.
I mean, listen, it's your vote. You get to
I
because you
know.
got 6 and 6. So if you want to coin flip it for your
No,
own,
I want to talk it out.
okay, talk it out.
Because if I cut out Get Out for Saw 5 and 6, I don't think I could live with myself. I truly don't.
I think Sam might kill you. And Jimmy said you're racist if
That's
you don't
true.
pick Get Out.
I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure Saw is all white people. Oh, also I want to say
no. Remember that there was a black cop.
no,
the main
no,
gu-
no,
no,
no, no,
Saw's not
no.
racist. There was that black cop who like everybody called crazy because he like figured it out. Remember?
Yeah, in Saw 1, you mean?
1 and 2.
Yeah,
And
he's
excuse
also the
me,
worst character.
Spiral is a huge part of the Saw universe, and that is an all black cast. So
Right, I was just talking about Saw 5 and 6.
Saw's not racist, but I think I have to give it to Get Out because I enjoyed watching Get Out so much more than I enjoyed watching Saw.
Okay,
Which,
well,
bye, Saw.
goodbye, Saw.
I'm so sorry, Tobin.
It was an honor
Don't get mad at us.
as one of my favorite, if not my favorite, horror franchises
Absolutely.
gets eliminated on round 1.
Really
Brutal.
sad, but
Absolutely
it
brutal.
didn't have a chance, honestly. So
Moving on, the next movie we saw was Antlers. It came out last weekend. We saw it opening weekend. We saw it on Sunday afternoon.
Halloween.
It was directed by Scott Cooper, who has done pretty much nothing. He'd made Black Mass, but it was produced by Guillermo del Toro, including the incredible monster design. Only reason we really
That's the
wanted
only
to see
reason I
it.
wanted to see it. Yeah.
Natalie, what did you think about the entertainment value of Antlers?
I only gave it a 2 out of 4. I liked this movie. I don't want to come off like I didn't like it, but it was like devastatingly sad. Like every 5 minutes they introduced a new like sad subplot that was like even more sad than the last one. It was a very sad movie. I cried at one point in this movie, and I don't watch horror movies to cry. Like that is not my thing. But I thought the setting was so good. Just kind of a sleepy small town, because I'm from a very small town where drugs do happen.
Ravaged by drug
And
addiction
so
and
it
abusive
kind of
parents.
hit home from like my small town, which again, I grew up great. I had a great family. This is not like I can't relate to this, but like my town was kind of like the town that it talked about. So like nostalgic a little bit. And Fat Damon's in it. I fucking love
Right.
Fat Damon.
For those that don't know, Fat Damon is also known as Jesse Plemons
Yeah,
from
that's
Breaking
probably the
Bad.
nice way to call him. I'm sorry,
From
Jesse.
Breaking Bad, Fat Damon.
I love that
Um,
man. I think he is great in everything he does.
he is awesome. I like him in
I
everything.
really like him. And so like that, and I didn't know he was in this. So that was kind of a fun little surprise when he popped up. And he's got a big part in it. So I gave it a 2 out of 4. I enjoyed liking it. I enjoyed liking it. I
I don't
enjoyed
know what the
watching it.
heck Carlos is talking
I
about.
don't
Every
either.
family has a chance. I don't know what that means, but
I don't either.
I'd give it a 2 out of 4. And I said to you on our drive home from the theater on Sunday, this is part of the new horror subgenre, which is called sad horror.
Which I want to correct you. It's not new. Because Carrie, which we're going to talk about kind of soon,
Yeah.
is very sad.
Yeah, not necessarily new, but I think the point I'm trying to make is that it seems like there is a subsect of people in modern cinema where they really want to make a sad movie, but maybe they're not sure that it can be successful in the box office, and so they just add a couple of horror elements. I almost wonder if that's how this movie was made. I almost
This
wonder
movie
if it
had
was.
way more than a couple. This movie was built on the monster,
Well,
though.
the ending wouldn't. I was
Are
sitting in
you
the
taking
theater.
this as a metaphor?
Well, see, I'll get to this in writing
Ooh.
slash acting, but I think this movie falls apart if you try to look at it as a metaphor because there's no message to this movie.
Drugs are bad.
Right, but even at the end with the little kid, without spoiling anything, like with
No,
the
don't
little kid
spoil.
and everything, like there's no message. The message is almost that abused people can never be saved. That's the message of this
Oh my
movie.
god, that's even more sad.
But that's what I'm saying is that like I don't think this movie conceptually
But
works
that's
on a
not true.
metaphorical level, which is why it really feels like they wrote a sad movie about abusive parents and they thought to themselves this will never get made because random indie movies don't get made like this anymore. So let's turn it into a horror movie because horror movies always make their money
I
back.
mean, I would not watch this movie if it were not considered a horror
Right,
movie.
because it would
So
just be
I
a
get that.
terribly depressing movie. You would
Yeah.
never want to go see this. But the
They
horror
tricked me.
elements, but like the horror elements are good, right? So I'd also give it a 2 out of 4. I'm
Yeah.
on the same
And
page.
I thought it was I thought it was a fine movie.
Yeah, I did too. It is a fine
I
movie.
would probably watch it again.
I would too. I think it's a fine movie.
I hear you.
We'll talk about it in writing, but I think
Yeah, so stop talking
I
about
don't
it
think
now.
there's any message to pull from this movie.
I agree.
But
I don't
scare
think there
slash
always has
kills.
to be a message.
I agree. I agree. It's just for a heavy-handed sad
I
movie.
hear you, but this isn't Pixar.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna make a depressing movie, you should probably have some
But
sort
it's
of
not
message.
depressing, it's a horror movie.
We're talking in circles here. What did you think about the scare
I
slash
gave it a
kills?
2 out of 4 because the monster was fantastic, but you knew it was going to be. They made you wait, they edged you the whole time, and then gave it to you, and I
It's
thought they
awesome.
gave it to you at the right point. They didn't even really show a ton. Like, even when you get the reveal, it's not a full reveal. They still kind of left some.
And the full reveal is when it kind of loses you. The
Um,
battle at the end.
I wish we could talk about it. Go watch this movie
There's
so we
like
can
a
talk about it.
CGI battle at the end
It
that
is,
like
and we
it's
hate
too
CGI battles.
it's
Unbelievable.
it's too unbelievable and it's also just too
Can you
long.
mute it for like 2 seconds so I can run something by you?
No, I can't. But
Why can't you mute it? Just do it.
Okay,
Sorry, secret
okay.
time.
Hello.
No
Okay.
spoilers.
Yeah, it's too much. It's
It
for
is.
too long. Like they hold on the battle for and the
They
monster.
do, and then,
Anyway, yeah, I'd give it 2 out of 4 for
but
scare slash kills
I
as well.
did. There was one like loud jump scare, which usually I hate. Loud, loud equals scary. I hate that. But this one happened, and I knew it was gonna happen, but it happened like so quickly that I like severely jumped in the theater. Do you remember?
Yeah, no, and I know what moment you're talking about.
It was very scary, and I think it had it wasn't rushed. It was like perfect. It needed to happen like that, and I knew it was gonna happen, but it happened like a half second before I thought it was gonna happen, and it got me.
Yeah, I think it's right down the middle of the road for scare slash kills, but the monster designs
Oh, so
are
good.
obviously awesome because it's Guillermo del Toro. That's why
That's
we
why
went
we
to see
went.
this
Yeah.
movie. It's because when there are spooky moments, for the most part, they're like really terrifying imagery.
Yeah.
So,
And it felt different than a lot of the movies we've seen by him. Well, it's not by him, but like where he has dipped his little hands into.
and then for writing slash acting, where would you put
I only
this?
gave it a 1 because I liked the story. It seemed to miss something. I kind of left the theater feeling a little bit like, well, now then what?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're making the same point I was making.
But I said it, so it's right now. But there was a part that was like they needed like this much more. But I can't place my finger on what it needed, but it needed something.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I said that the child actors were actually good. I liked all the child actors except the bully, but the bullies always
acting was
suck.
perfect.
Yeah.
And I want to give this movie a 2 out of 2 because I think the acting is perfect from everyone.
Yeah.
But the script is kind of a mess.
Yeah, they changed their mind a couple of times and
they
you could like feel
don't
it.
they don't pay everything off in a satisfying way. Like
Mhm.
her backstory is like there's never a payoff, but it's enough because it
We
gives
get
her
like
motivation.
that little flash of
Right,
like
and it gives her motivation, right? Because it's like, why would she be trying so hard for this abused kid?
yeah.
Okay, so that's you know what
And
I
then
mean.
they like tease Fat Damon's and then they never give it to us.
That's what I'm saying is, and I think
What is
you
his
know
name? Jesse?
Jesse
I'm
Plemons.
sorry, Jesse.
Like I was saying earlier, a horror movie it doesn't have to have a message. Not every movie
No.
has to have a message. I agree with you. I'm not trying to be like ultra pretentious.
Sure.
My point is that
That comes
I
later.
think the movie is trying to be a serious movie. It comes across as a movie that should have a message. You're dealing with like
No.
abused.
Pause.
Let me finish. You're dealing with abused children, which is a very serious topic.
Yeah, very sad
It's
one.
a very depressing movie,
Yeah.
and there are characters that have a deeper insight than you would initially think with the father and stuff. They do some interesting stuff, but again, when you leave the theater, you don't feel like you came away with any strong message.
But when I said it's missing something, I don't think it's missing a message. I do not need a message from this movie. I feel like it's missing like a little bit more, like a more of a conclusion because it didn't really conclude. Like the ending was just kind of like, is it the ending? And I hate shit like that. End it or don't. Well, just kidding. End it.
But sure, but
I hear
even
you.
still,
I've heard your message talk, and I
know,
get it,
I'm just
but I don't
saying.
agree.
Yeah, maybe if they ended it more conclusively, it wouldn't. You're saying that if they cut the last 30 seconds, you would have walked away not having that feeling, because the cliffhanger is only that last 30 seconds.
Correct. I said I can't pinpoint what I want, but it's not a message. I don't need a VeggieTales message at the end of all my movies. I know you do, because that is pretentious
I
of
don't
you.
need
but
a VeggieTales message.
I don't need a message.
I'm just saying that this movie is built for a metaphor, but there's no metaphor.
There kind of is. You're just not looking hard enough, and it's fine. I give it a 5 out of
10. 5 out of 10. That's a fucking 5 out of 10, all right? This movie sucks, okay?
No! Everybody should go watch it and then hit me up and tell me what you think, because I would love to talk about it. There's lots of things I want to talk about that I can't talk to Tyler about because he's too pretentious.
It's a perfectly watchable movie. No, I'm saying there's nothing to talk about. There's no deeper meaning to anything.
I want to talk all about the dad, but I can't talk about the dad right now because I think there is a deeper meaning to the dad, and you refuse to see it because...
Yes, there's this much depth to the dad. I agree with you, okay? But
I think it's just because it's a dad, it's a little sensitive for you, and I want to talk about it. But it's fine. No, Sam, please watch it, and then text me because I want to talk about it to somebody.
This movie was fine.
It was good. Everybody should go watch it and then text me so we can talk. Because I can't talk to Tyler about it.
It's a perfectly fine movie.
All right, next movie. I'm done.
Well, hold on. Now we get to rank.
Oh no.
Antlers versus the Cube.
It's Antlers. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
The Cube sucks.
Let's just move on. Tyler being pretentious, never.
Right, retweet.
Listen, I'm just saying
no,
that.
Listen.
No, that's my time.
No, can I unplug your mic? Listen,
I'm
saying, I'm just gonna leave because Tyler doesn't want to hear what I have to say about Hereditary. He just wants to talk about it I'll do it on the British accent when Hereditary comes because that's how Tyler's gonna be. So just prepare your little bodies now.
I just think a horror movie should pick a lane. That's all I'm saying. Be a cheesy horror. It didn't. It didn't want to pick a lane. It picked and chose.
It wasn't cheesy. Where was it cheesy?
It was cheesy in the sense that there's no deeper message.
Oh my God!
That's how it's cheesy. That's how it's cheesy.
I can't talk about it anymore.
It's cheesy because you can't take anything.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it. I'm done. I'm done talking about it. Oh my God. You couldn't help yourself. Next movie we watched was Unfriended 2. What was the message in Unfriended 2, Tyler?
It didn't have to have one because it picked a lane.
It's not cheesy. It's
It,
very scary.
Unfriended 2 is not cheesy. Y'all got
No,
any cheese, bro?
because that's the first one. That's the first
When
one.
did I? For some reason, I
Also,
didn't log this movie, which is
we
absurd. When did we watch
Unfriended
this?
2 has the same girl from Get Out.
We watched this on the 31st, right?
Yeah, after we got home from the other movie.
Um, Unfriended 2 is a good movie. Um, yeah, I like it a lot. I think it's the first movie is dog shit. Um, Unfriended 2 drops the paranormal stuff and instead takes it in like a hacker dark net type of way.
No, see, that pissed me off. The title is called Unfriended Dark Web. They only call it Dark Net in the movie.
You're
And
right.
that's annoying to me.
It is weird that they don't say dark web
Right.
at any point in time in
Like,
the movie.
I don't know why the title is Dark Web, but it's like, bro, this is Dark Net. This is Dark Net, bro. And I hate that.
But yeah, the first movie is actual dog shit,
It's
and this
bad.
movie's actually pretty good. Natalie, what did you think about the entertainment value for this movie?
I gave it a 3 out of 4. I really like this movie. I
Tell
think
me
this
more.
movie is very fun. I think it's super rewatchable. This was probably the fourth time I've watched this movie because Tyler and I love the Unfriended movies just for like the meme of them. So we've watched them both a lot. So I really like this one. I think it has super memorable parts. Like the whole part with the podcast guy is like very memorable. And then when they put the girl in the closet, that part's super memorable when she sees her head. Like everything is very, very memorable in it. I said the same thing you did. I think it's fun that it's a horror movie, but it's not like ghosts.
It's not paranormal.
Yeah, which is fun because you really don't see that a lot. And it's also not a psychological thriller. It's just scary shit that can happen to you in real life, you know? I really like it.
It's Scary Hacker
Oh,
Man.
and I thought it was like super fun how many different cameras they like hacked into. Like the baby cam, the like self checkout lane camera, like stuff like that. I was like, "Ah, damn, I really like this movie. I think it's
Yeah,
really fun."
I'd also give it a 3 out of 4. I
It's a
think
little homophobic.
it's incredibly entertaining. Um, I'd love to see more horror movies with a dark web theme. Well, that's the thing, Sam, and what I was going to talk about is I think there are other movies that try to do this scary hacker thing.
Yeah.
Like if you've seen the trailer for the new Scream, he hacks into her locks, and that comes across as cheesy. The new Child's Play does the same thing where he's hacking drones and
Well,
stuff.
there are movies though that do take place on like the dark web. Like Megan is Missing is a movie that does that, and it's like so disturbingly scary that like people don't watch it. Like it's like there's that
Yeah,
level of
I
this
think
real
the
life
point
stuff.
I'm making though is from the hacker perspective. It's been done really cheesy.
Yeah, it's like spy
And I
movie
think
shit.
in this movie it works.
Yeah.
I think that they really found their footing with the whole computer screen direction thing.
Yeah.
And they really do that because by like a lot of there's really large chunks of this movie, especially towards the beginning, where the main character is just doing things on his computer with the call running in the background, where he's not even interacting with them. And it feels like very relatable. Like they just do it well. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
well, I pointed that out to you. Like, it's so fun that like all of those people who are not talking to him, they did have to record probably like 30 minutes of just dialogue
Just them
and like
talking in the
acting
background,
out
yeah.
to get like about nothing that like we'll never hear, but they had to look like they were doing something. And I think that is super cool because you're right. Like I have been on calls with like my mom, and I start like doing other things, but like I'm still on the call. You know, I don't know.
But
It felt
I
real.
think also just from like a writing perspective, it's easier to write your movie when you give your main character some alone time.
Yeah.
And that was like their way of doing that in this movie.
Yeah.
They also like have some good soundtrack by like just having him play music on Spotify. Like it's just they kind of found their footing
Yeah,
more
there are a lot
with
of
that
really cute
format
touches.
of the
And I
movie.
think it's hard to make like this kind of movie, like the computer clicky movie. What is that? Does that have a name?
I don't know if it has a name, but it is like a subgenre.
Yeah, because the first one, it seems like lame and cheesy because it is paranormal, you know? Like that seems weird that a
Yeah.
ghost knows how to use
Yeah,
sticks.
it feels more
But
like
then what's
they just shoved the computer stuff in to appeal to kids.
yes.
Whereas in this movie, it's an integral
It
part
is the
of
whole
the
part of the
horror.
movie. And then I think that what you know that other movie that was it's not a scary movie.
There's Searching.
Searching. I think they do a pretty good job, but again, it's because it's real life. Like he's really searching up stuff you would search up. And so I think like those are the only movies that you can do with this kind of thing.
Sam said, "What's your opinion on found footage movies?" I love them, and I think this genre is kind of an offshoot of that
I
found
do too.
footage. And also, there's found footage aspects of this movie. Like they actually find found footage of like
Yeah.
people getting like murdered and
Yeah.
stuff. Like
No,
it's
I
part
love
of the
found
dark
footage
web.
movies. I think they're done really. I think if it's like a shitty found footage movie that like actually isn't, but it's pretending to be, I hate that. But like the Paranormal Activities, Blair Witch, I love Blair Witch. I think things like that are like super fun.
Scare slash kills.
I gave this only a 1 out of 4. I
Me
said
too.
it's more like shock value, and it's really not even that shocking. Like they're all gonna eventually. It's just really fun to watch. I will say, I think if I have seen more, because aren't there like 4 endings to this movie?
I think there's only two if he lives or dies.
Are there 2?
There might be a third one, but there's multiple endings to this movie,
And
and
I've only seen one,
they sent different endings to different
which is
theaters.
super cool. But
It's a fun idea.
I've only seen one ending, and it's the same one. We only have seen the one where he dies, and it's fine. I don't know. I wish more happened, and we never find out what happens to like Amaya and stuff like that. I don't know. Also, I want to say something. You know how he makes that thing papaya for Amaya? Whoa, papaya for Amaya. And it's, if you haven't seen the movie, which I think everybody has, but anyway, it's like he is saying stuff into his computer, and it's kind of like text to speech, only then it shows like the hand motions. But if she can read lips, she can watch him say the thing, and then she has to watch like a 10-second video of like him. I hate, it's useless.
Yeah, well,
That's what she says. Yeah.
that exactly. That's kind of the story is.
Yeah, it's
And
just like
there is
such
like a little
useless line.
relationship story going on, which is it's serviceable.
The
It's not
first
bad.
act is all about their relationship.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's perfectly serviceable. Um,
I know. I think so too. Look
there
it up.
must be a name for this genre.
There has to be, because it's pretty popular now.
What is the name of unfriended computer genre? That's not
That's
it.
not it.
Computer.
What are movies like Unfriended called? Oh, no. That's just 10.
I don't think there's a name for it. I I don't a computer. I think they're just calling it a computer screen movie. I don't think there's like an actual name.
Cyber horror? That's a fun one.
Yeah, but that could imply that
Because searching's not horror.
anything relating to the internet could be cyber horror.
Oh, wait.
Video call horror?
With searching seeks a new cinematic language that mirrors digital life. Oh, it still doesn't have a name for it.
That's what I'm saying. There's still not an. This is that movie Searching, which is
Which
pretty
is a
good.
pretty good movie.
Yeah, it's not bad. But I just don't think there's an official name for
I
it. 'Cause
would
there's not
love
enough movies
to
to
have
really.
one. Techno horror is also a good
But
one.
again, that implies that it could be anything about technology.
Okay.
You just hate when I disagree with things.
You just disagree so hostily.
So I have an opinion.
Shut up, Natalie.
What
That's
did you think
wrong.
about the writing slash acting? We got to keep this thing moving, don't we?
I gave it a 1. I
Me
think
too.
it's a pretty creative concept, but the acting is pretty meh.
Yeah, it's down
Nobody
the middle
stands
of the road.
out.
Yeah. Right down the middle. 5 out of 10 for me. Total score.
Oh, what? 5 out of 10 for me also.
Okay, so we can actually fill this bad boy out. This is gonna be interesting.
No.
Unfriended
That's
to-
the second bracket. We don't do that one yet.
You don't want to do that
No,
yet.
we have to do, because we haven't done any of the other ones. We have to do Hereditary and Carrie.
Okay. So
Man's breaking his own rules.
okay. So next up, we watched Carrie, the original movie from
Yes,
1976.
which neither of us had
Very
seen.
old. Neither of us had seen it. It's based on a Stephen King book. The Stephen King book, just so you know, is a collection of like random articles from like around the country documenting this
Is it?
high school character. Yeah, it's not told in a natural way. It's like here's an autopsy report, here's a principal's report, here's an article, it's like a collection of things and then you put it together. But for the movie, they turned it into like a normal story.
Wait, I would love to read the book then.
Yeah, it's like one of his most unique books apparently.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's mostly Maine, Shipley said. So yeah, it's like a collection of reports from outsider viewpoints.
Yeah.
Which made it kind of interesting that they turned it into like a linear thing.
Yeah.
Because it's just a normal movie.
Well, because how would you make that?
It'd be incredibly difficult, maybe impossible.
Yeah. So I think they did a great job with it if they had to adapt it themselves. For this one, I gave it a 2 out of 4. I wanted it to be a 3.
For entertainment.
Yeah, I wanted it to be a 3, but Jesus fucking Christ, this movie would not end. There were like six endings where it could have ended and it would have been a perfect movie, but it just kept going, and I hate that. Like, if you don't have, just end it, just end the movie. And they wouldn't, they would not. And that was so frustrating to me. Um, and if you've seen the movie, you know her PE class is so fucking mean to her. And this whole thing is based around this girl is mad because she was a dick to Carrie and then couldn't go to prom. So then she was like, I'm gonna fuck over
Well,
Carrie.
she could have gone to prom if she just took her punishment.
Right. So I guess she was mad she got a punishment. And I'm like, okay, I was a high school girl. High school girls are the fucking worst. But no one was ever just that fucking mean
Well,
to one
it's like that
individual person.
cliche like bullying stereotype that you see in movies, but it's girls doing it.
Well, girls are the meanest people alive, but like that was rough, and it like hurt my heart to like watch all the things that would happen. And
Which like 1976, and it was made by people that were probably grew up in the 60s in high school.
I
Things
just
might have been
don't
this
believe
rough.
people got that. And the teacher was like slapping people. I'm like, what the fuck?
I think in the 60s that probably happened.
Listen, it was devastating, and this poor girl did nothing. She wasn't even ugly. She was really cute. She wasn't super weird. Her mom was like a weird Jesus
She
person,
definitely gave off weird girl vibes.
like horse girl.
She gave off horse girl vibes for sure. Like
I
we
loved
definitely went to
Carrie.
someone
I
like
really loved
they
Carrie.
picked an actress that can be made beautiful on purpose. You know what I mean? But she's definitely got like that weird girl vibe. I mean, she's well casted, is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
no, no, no. I hear you. I really, maybe I just give people the benefit of the doubt too much because I really do not believe anybody would be that mean.
Oh, I think it's definitely possible to this extent. I don't know, but I think
Also,
it's possible.
weird, weird, weird amount of underage full frontal nudity. It was like, holy fuck, like this is way too much. It was like super gross, honestly. I felt weird watching it. Weird
Yeah,
shower scene with an underage girl. It was like very.
I don't have a ton to say about this movie, honestly.
Really? I have a lot to say.
I think it was fine. 2 out of 4 for entertainment. Right
I
down
thought
the
it
middle
was
of the
so
road.
good. And then, but then, like, well, I want to keep talking about it then since you don't want to talk about it.
Well, do you want to? Can we follow the format?
No, because what I have to say doesn't really have to do with that. I guess it kind of. So for Scares for Kills, I gave it a 2 because I was like super shocked about what happened. I like didn't know how it went down, and I guess spoilers if you haven't seen Carrie, but you should watch Carrie. I have not seen the Jesus Camp. Sam said, I don't know if you've seen the documentary Jesus Camp, but that movie's terrifying. I haven't. I feel like I have a traumatizing relationship with the church because of like how I grew up with my camps and stuff. And like I didn't know it was traumatizing until I started talking to Tyler about it. And so like I don't think I could watch that movie. I think that would like hurt me a little bit. But anyway, I gave it a 2 out of 4 because at the end, like after she gets like the blood dumped on her, like or before I guess, the guy who took her to prom, the whole time I was like, he's being nice. Like he's being nice to her. And Tyler was like, no, no, he's being mean.
I was just
But
confused.
he was like really into her and kissing her, and like that part was weird to me. But then so like the blood falls on her and she like loses her shit and murders everyone at prom. And I had no idea that happened. But she was mass murdering these people. And I was like, oh my God, I thought she just got that thrown on her and then she makes lights blow up and then the movie's over. I don't know what I was expecting.
I don't know what you're expecting
And
either.
then she goes home and her whole house like sinks into the ground. Didn't really love that.
You're just describing the movie.
Because I was so flabbergasted. And then the movie should have ended and it didn't. There were 4 more scenes after that. So
Scare slash kills. You gave it a 2 out of
oh wait,
4.
COVID is calling me. I gotta go.
All right. Well, Natalie's getting a phone call from the health department, so we're gonna have to pause our discussion. I might as well talk about the scare slash kills value that I thought, and then we're gonna go to a BRB. Um, I gave it a 1 out of 4. She's going off right now about how much she loved this movie, but I thought it was. I mean, it's not scary in any way. I mean, the bullying sucks, but all the kills are boring as shit. I mean, it's from 1976. They didn't, and no one funded practical effects for this movie, so the kills suck. There's nothing scary about it. I think she just likes it conceptually, if I'm being honest, um, which is fine. It's a fine movie conceptually. It's a well-made. I mean, for 1976, the bar is lower. It's a fine movie. For how long it is, it's only 98 minutes. They could have trimmed it down to like 85 at least. Carlos has only seen the remake. I haven't seen the remake. I can't imagine it's that much better. Because like I said, for what the story is, I think they do it fine. It's a serviceable movie. I just I could take it or leave it. You know what I mean? I would rate it about the same as I would rate like a traditional early 2000s remake. So I the remake probably gets the kills better. Um, but beyond that, I can't see this movie being that much better. Um, so yeah, with that being said, we're gonna have to wait for Natalie to come back to talk about writing slash acting. I'm gonna throw it to a be right back. For all of you that are here, please stick around. After this short break, we're going to finish Carrie. We're gonna discuss Hereditary, and then we're gonna determine a winner. We're gonna go through the bracket. So please stick around. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. hold on. All right, we're back. Thank you for
Sorry.
holding. Natalie had to take that call. I said that for scare slash kills, I only gave it a 1 out of 4. I just didn't find it scary, or I didn't
I
think the
thought
kills were good.
I
I
thought it
know,
was scary.
I know you loved it.
Tyler has told me that we have to go quicker, so
That's not what I said. That's not what I said because I'm gonna want to talk about Hereditary, so I'm not gonna rush you on this. But do you have anything else you want to say about scare slash kills before we move in on to?
no, it was just really shocking, and I was not expecting all of that to happen. Also, no, Jimmy, no.
No, that's
It's a
not.
long story. I'll
No, we're
text
fine.
you later.
Writing and acting. What did you think for Carrie?
I gave it a 1 out of 4. I thought it was just fine, but I think that's almost not fair because is it me? Am I breathing heavy?
I don't. I ignore him.
It's I maybe I'm so excited about Carrie. I just want to breathe deep. Maybe I do have I've got tightness of breath. Anyway, now I'm self-conscious, Jimmy.
Babe, you're fine. Come on.
I'm sorry. I thought it was just fine.
No, you're allowed to talk. It's just you're getting sidetracked.
um, I just thought it was fine, but I haven't seen a lot of movies from the 70s, so I don't have a fair bar. It's not fair to rate a movie in the 70s on acting and like writing compared to a movie of now because they are different.
You've told me the opposite before. You've told me that it's bullshit to rate like Texas Chainsaw on a lower
Well, I
bar.
don't like Texas Chainsaw, so
Well, right. So that's what I'm saying.
I don't see the problem with that.
So I'm sorry. You gave it a 1 out of 2.
I did.
That's what I gave it to.
Yeah,
I think
it
it's
was just
fine.
fine. That's what I
Yeah, I
said.
mean John Travolta's in it, which is fun.
He's a dick and a
Yeah, he's
half.
like one of the bully
So
dudes.
mean. He
Um,
killed a pig.
he did kill a pig.
I gave it a 5 out of 10.
4 out of 10 for me.
Four.
Yeah. So I mean, Carrie was I would watch it. I mean,
Was I breathing loud? I'm really self-conscious.
no, you were.
now.
I don't know what Jimmy's on about. I think
feel
Jimmy
so
just breathed into his
embarrassed.
own mic, or maybe I breathed into the mic
I
and he
feel
freaked out
really
about it.
bad.
Good job, Jimmy.
I'll be done. I don't have to do it anymore.
The next movie is Hereditary. I have an extreme bias. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I would put it in my top 4 or 5 of all time. Um, I first saw this movie in theaters. I have seen it way too many times. I've seen it at least 5 times, which
Mm.
is too many times for a movie. That brings it down a little bit because you can only watch a movie so many times. That being said, I still absolutely love it. I do think
Did
it's
you give this
goated.
a perfect score?
I'm not telling you,
You didn't.
but Natalie,
Yes, sir.
I know you don't like this movie as much. I know we're
I
gonna
rated
argue a
it
lot
very
about.
fairly though.
I know we're gonna argue about it.
Yes.
So entertainment wise, and try to put it in the mindset of someone that hasn't seen it 3 or 4 times. What you think
Are
of
we
it?
not spoiling? Can I talk about stuff?
Um, Light spoilers.
Light spoilers. I gave it a 3 out of 4. I've seen it a lot of times with you specifically. I was telling Tyler, I think this is the first time that I've seen it sober. Like I feel like
Which
I'm
is
usually
hilarious.
under something. And I can still watch it and notice new things. Like and it like what did I notice this past time? I don't remember. Oh, the sound. Like that
Yeah.
for the first act. Oh. So like that's interesting. I think it's very pretty. The house is in like a really good setting.
Yeah, it's a fun
I'm
little
breathing
spot.
so weird now because
And like
so
all
uncomfortable.
of the rooms are well decorated.
All of
Like
the
it's a nice
rooms look
set.
really good. Her like hobby is like the miniature thing, and like those are always like so. It's really good vibes. Well, good vibes that are bad vibes, and I think the mood is set like perfectly. I do dock it a little bit because I hate how they're like. Don't eat nuts because you're allergic to nuts. Does that have nuts?
You're
You're
dropping
allergic
them.
to
Wait,
nuts.
so are you dropping it from a 4 to a 3 because of that setup
Because there
moment?
are a lot of little things like that that are just kind of like,
You think?
yeah, the nut thing is super annoying. Something very important happens if you haven't seen the movie, and he just like gets out of the car and goes to bed. Nobody would do that. I don't think that's real at all.
But it's believable enough, and it's almost creepier. Like it's an interesting moment.
I guess so.
Entertainment, you give it a 3. Your
I
whole vibe is off since Jimmy said the breathing
well,
thing.
no, I don't know who Nathaniel Davis is, and so I was looking at that because I don't know who that is.
I he's a viewer.
Welcome. Thanks for
Um,
coming.
Hereditary, I'd give it a 4 out of 4 for entertainment. I think it's incredibly entertaining.
I think it's entertaining. It has lulls. There are a lot of parts where I'm like, this is a snooze and a half.
But I think again, I would agree with you, but I think a first time viewer wouldn't feel that way.
That's true. They do pace kind of like the scary.
Yeah, because it's like this is a movie that is really suspenseful and kind of confusing the first time, and then the second time you're almost rewarded by watching it again
Yeah.
because everything is set up in an interesting way. Like the movie holistically works on like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think I give it an extra special score because most horror movies are worse the second time around, and I think this movie's
We just
as
named like 3 this episode that are better the second watch.
what
Get
other
Out.
Get Out is one of that I would also say is good the second time around.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm saying that those are
No, no, no,
two
no, no.
those are two
I understand.
exceptions.
I understand. Again, I like this movie. I think it's fine. I think it's interesting how they play it off and stuff. I think everybody in this movie is perfectly cast. I think it's good. I guess I don't like the whole like Joni part. I don't
Mm,
love that. I
okay.
think that's kind of just like I get why they had to do it. I don't really like how the husband gets kind of just mean to her and doesn't believe her about stuff.
Well, it's a dysfunctional family, which I'm sure we'll talk about in the writing segment, but we can talk about it now. But like, what makes this movie work is that it's a family that is perfectly functional,
Mhm.
but at its core, it's toxic. Like it's not, and I think a lot of people can relate. I think a lot of people
That's
have
most suburban
right.
families.
I think
Yeah.
most families are serviceable, and there are moments where the dad is like, "Oh, are you, studying for that test?" Or, "Oh, the mom is like, "Oh, you should go to that party." Or like there are moments where like they're doing the things that good parents should do, but when it comes to emotional connection, it's obviously just fucked on every
Yeah,
level
well, and
from
because
all
they kind of
parties.
like say like she had that sleepwalking thing, which I also don't really like. They kind of just threw that in so it could be like scary, and I don't love that. The whole like seance thing seems like just thrown together. We had like disagreeing moments on like when the demon, because we don't say demon names in this house, enters the guy.
But you were right.
Can you
I,
say that again?
you were right. I think
Thank you.
it is intentionally vague because I think like even if you watch this movie 5 or 6 times, there's still moments of like dread that like they're
Yes,
setting up
it's
moments
the
and you
mood.
don't exactly know when they're paying off, but they all culminate to a moment, right?
Yeah,
They all build. So like it's hard to pinpoint exactly, but I think you are more right than I was for sure.
I do too.
Um yeah, I'd give it a perfect score for entertainment. I think it's
Yeah,
incredibly entertaining.
I what did I give it? A 3 out of 4, and that's fair. I think that's a fair score for it.
Scares and kills.
I also gave it a 3 out of 4. My very first thing I talked about is the buzzing sound that never stops in the first half, and I had never noticed it before. And it's funny because we were just, I guess we set up like the big speakers in the living room, but it was like a constant like woo, 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 and
Yeah, there's like a pulsing
it
bass
was
sound.
freaking me out. It was making me so anxious.
Jimmy got the demon name wrong.
That sucks, Jimmy. That sucks a lot. That's embarrassing because someone said it earlier. Who said it earlier? Sam said it earlier. But I didn't like that cuz and then I couldn't stop focusing. They were talking about normal stuff. It was like normal dialogue, not scary dialogue, but it was so scary and I didn't like it at all. You're not even listening to me.
No, I am. I am listening to you. I this is the only. I'd give it a 3 out of 4 as well,
I
just
wasn't
because.
done. I wasn't done.
Oh,
I
sorry.
said
Go
I
ahead.
hate the naked people. I think it's a good touch, but it's really scary. I do not like that at all. The breath outside is scary. Like someone's always watching these people's house. And then that the mom hanging on the wall. Because they don't talk about it. I'm not getting shivers. But she's in the darkest corner of the room, which we have a darkest corner of our room, and it gets darker. And Tyler doesn't believe me, but every once in a while you look at it and it's way darker than it was like 5 minutes ago. And it freaks me the fuck out. And that
Tyler,
happens
that
in this movie.
corner's really dark.
And Taylor's like, the lights are off. It is dark. I'm like, like it's dark because something's in that corner, and I hate it. And so like the fact that it's in this movie is like horrifying to me. Yeah, just yuck.
I I'd give it a 3 out of 4 for scares and kills. I don't even know why. I didn't. Last night I wrote down a 3 out of 4. I can't think of a reason I would dock it. I don't. I can't think of. I
Because it's
mean,
not very. It's more dreadful than scary.
but I think that's a really. I I, I don't know. That's a more satisfying scare. You know what I think it is? I think the end of this movie is so out there that it takes away from the horror a little bit. Like there's all those really crazy moments, and then there's like the treehouse scene, which is like not really scary. It deflates it. Like I think the first time
I
you
just
watch
don't
the
think I
movie, it
understand it.
deflates it a bit. But then when you rewatch the movie, you're like, oh, that's clearly what this has
And
all
you
been
know what's
building to.
annoying? I pointed it out last night. There's a scene where she's trying to get up into the attic and she can't. He has like the door locked. And then in the very next scene, she's in the attic.
Yeah, yeah.
How did
I've
she get
never
there?
noticed that.
They
I've seen
don't
this
talk
movie like
about
five
it.
times. I've never noticed
She
that.
can't go through walls. She can float around, sure, but there's no way she would have gotten in. And that really irritated me. And then I couldn't think about how scary it was. And
She
so
those two moments with her at the end are like the best parts of the scariest parts of the movie though.
this
Yeah.
and then this,
Yeah.
that's horrifying.
Yeah. I
Horrifying,
would
dude.
disagree with Carlos. Carlos says the moments that are intentionally scary movies aren't really scary. I don't know what the fuck that
What
means.
does that
That's a
mean?
high schooler take. That doesn't even mean anything.
That's like very pretentious for no reason. What is scary? Joker? Are you scared
I
of
don't know what
Joker?
that means though.
We live in a
Movies that are
society.
trying to be scary aren't scary. This movie was trying to be scary.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Any movie that is scary is trying to be scary. Sorry, Carlos, you take the L of the day. Everyone. Carlos gets the L of the day.
That was not a
Woo!
good comment, Carlos.
Um, Writing and acting. What did you say?
You know, it's perfect.
It's
It's a 2
perfect.
out of
Yeah,
2.
it's a 2 out of
The
2. The writing
acting
is
is
insane.
fantastic. We were talking last night that Tony, I always want to call her Joni for some
Toni
reason.
Collette, the main character.
She's fantastic in this movie, but this is one of the very few movies that I've seen her in that she is not like a gimmick character. And
Yeah,
why?
I don't
Because
know
she's
either.
fantastic.
She got famous off this role, and it's like a fantastic, real role with depth. And you pointed it out, every role since then, she's been like the gimmick character.
And it's so weird. And she's gonna be in the new
Guillermo del Toro, and she's
movie.
playing like the psychic lady.
Yeah, like
And
stop
she looks
giving her
goofy.
these roles. Like 'cause she can handle a main role, main serious role so well. She makes this movie.
Well, that's what I was saying is the writing for this movie in terms of from the horror side is awesome because there's all these setups that
Mhm.
pay off later and you don't even realize they're paying off until you rewatch the movie. And then additionally, there's like the whole subtext of like a family drama. Like at its core, it is a movie
This is a
about
sad horror.
it's a movie that um deal like the ideas of like possession and demonic worship mirror the ideas of like family turmoil.
Yeah.
And because their family is so messed up, they're blind to the things that are happening. If
Right.
the communication and the emotional connections were stronger, they might have stopped this,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
especially towards the end with the husband and stuff.
Which that thanks for bringing it up again. It pisses me off. The husband pissed me off so much because she is like the most sincere we have ever seen her in this movie. She is hysterical about this. And he's like, like calm down. I'm calling the cops. All this stuff. Like how would she
But they have a dysfunctional but that's the point.
spoiler, how would she unearth a body and bring it home? She couldn't.
I don't
She
think
couldn't.
I think they're both thinking a little irrationally. You have to give them they've both been through a lot of stuff. I think he's just pissed. I think she's never been an emotionally connected person ever. And so this
Yeah.
one time that she's being manic, it does come across as a mental breakdown. I mean, it's completely believable. I just think I think the reason that they don't figure it out is more reasonable in this movie than it is in a lot of others.
It is believable.
You
And
know?
like she is saying something like burn this book and it will burn me.
She's saying
Like,
crazy
that
shit.
is crazy, I
right?
guess.
And like her kids are fucked up. Like everything is pretty fucked for this family. So like I
Yeah.
think it's believable. It doesn't make it any less frustrating. But yeah, they're all of them are dysfunctional. The dad
Yeah.
is probably the least dysfunctional, but still dysfunctional. Because from like a hereditary standpoint, there is something to say about the idea that he's kind of the outsider. He
Yeah.
doesn't have the blood,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the whole idea of like trauma and mental illness being passed down is a metaphor
no,
in this movie. It's a
yeah.
hereditary thing.
I understand. It's just also I can't stop looking at that character. And then Clay for Halloween was this character and it was fantastic.
Our buddy did dress up as like the son towards the end of the movie
and
with
it's
the nose
all
thing
I
and the
can
crown.
think about. And last night watching it, I was like, damn, Clay did such a good job.
Yeah, he
Like,
killed it.
It was so good.
He killed it.
He did.
Well, Final score for me is a 9 out of 10.
Mine's an 8 out of 10.
And that is the last movie for us to rate for all 31.
Finally! So happy.
So now we get the pleasure of starting this bracket.
Well, we have to say which one won.
Hereditary versus Carrie.
It won.
Hereditary?
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you. We can at least agree on that. So now
I'm not letting Hereditary take it all. I'm not. So if that's what you're banking on,
I
leave.
think it's going to come to a coin flip at some point.
Hereditary's not winning.
Anyway,
Any-
now we get to the fun part.
yeah. And we're not going off scores anymore, right?
Well, we can.
Mm.
So now at this point, we're going on gut feel for the most. You can basically what I'm saying is at this point you can vote however you want to. I think that if it's a really tough decision,
Then I
it
go
would
to
be
my score?
wise to
Okay.
look at your score
Okay.
and your notes. But at this point, I think we should rely on how we can judge it however we want to. Okay.
This is exciting.
We're gonna start at the top. Unfriended 2 versus Get Out. What are we feeling? What
Here's
are
the
you
thing.
feeling?
I love Unfriended 2. I think it's a great movie. I do not think it stands up against Get Out. I think Get Out is like
It's rough, right?
It is.
Because it's like
They're very different movies, but I mean Get Out is the better movie. Is it the better
Yeah.
horror movie?
I mean, score-wise, for you, they were tied.
Yes. I do think it's probably Sam, we know you love this movie, dude. This is his favorite.
It's tough, right? Because we have on this list we have a mixture of like actually intelligent movies and then movies that are fun horror movies.
know.
And it's hard. It comes down to the root of the question of like what is like what is a horror movie? What makes a good horror movie?
I do think I love them both so much. I think Get Out wins for me. I do.
For me, it's Get Out.
Yeah, I think it's just the better watchability. I enjoyed watching it more than I enjoyed watching Unfriended this past time.
Yeah.
So I think Get Out would win.
Well, and here's the thing that we should make clear to everyone. Every single movie that has made it to this point in time is a must watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
By eliminating Unfriended 2, we're not saying don't go watch Unfriended 2.
Yeah.
All of these movies that you see here in the second round, go watch them, right?
Mhm.
We're giving them the credit that they deserve.
Yeah.
That being said, Get Out's the better movie.
Mhm.
Not just on a movie level, I think even on a horror. I think it's just a better movie.
Yeah, I agree. So Get Out wins.
Jimmy said horror movie is when not actually supposed to be scary. Entire bracket. Fuck off. I think he's trying to
Make fun
give
of
a
Carlos?
callback of Carlos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get Out is the winner.
Suck it, Carlos.
Next up we have The Visit versus Final Destination 3. This isn't even a conversation.
No, it's Final Destination 3.
The Visit made it to round 2 on a fluke.
Yeah, because it was up against The Fog, which really sucked.
So I mean,
So remember when he said every movie on the second part is a must see? You don't have to watch The Visit. That one you can leave
I
off.
disagree.
No, I don't think you should watch.
I think it's a terrible movie, but it's kind of funny bad.
No, it's just bad.
Yeah, it's pretty boring, isn't it? Final Destination 3 definitely deserves it.
It's a great movie. That's gonna suck.
Yeah, it is. Trick or Treat versus Donnie Darko.
Mine's Trick or Treat. I don't have to think about it. It's Trick or Treat for me.
So let me just say, Donnie Darko holds a very, very special place in my heart. I think it is a fantastic must-watch movie, teen drama sci-fi, but rewatching it, it's really not that much of a horror movie.
No.
It's more of like a teen sci-fi.
It is.
And I think it's a fantastic movie.
Oh yeah, it's great.
But for that reason, Trick or Treat is the better horror movie.
It's fantastic. It is the feeling of October in a movie.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we're gonna talk about an October horror bracket, like Trick or Treat is definitely the more October.
Yeah, I
movie.
fucking love this movie.
Like, Donnie Darko is a great movie. Definitely go see it. But
yeah,
that's easy. American Psycho versus Killer Klownz. This is a weird one. This is a really weird one.
Because I'm voting for Killer Klownz.
Damn.
I loved Killer Klownz. Killer Klownz was such a surprise. I was expecting it to be actual dog shit and so boring. I loved this movie. I was like so into this movie. I love it. I love Killer Klownz. American Psycho was good. If we really want to talk about it, American Psycho is not a horror movie.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think American Psycho is definitely the better movie.
I don't.
For me personally,
For you
American
personally, you can
Psycho
hold
is the
that.
better movie. But
I
when I
loved
think
Killer
of an
Clowns.
October horror movie, American Psycho is pretty low on the list. Because American Psycho is more of like an interesting thriller with really good acting and a couple horrifying moments. And like Killer Clowns is a movie that's like built for the horror genre.
Yeah.
And I lean towards Killer Clowns for that reason. So even though earlier on this bracket I gave American Psycho a 6 or a 7 and I gave Killer Clowns a 6, I think Killer Clowns takes it.
I love Killer Clowns. That's my vote. Is
I,
Killer
I
Clowns also?
I think it's a really shitty movie and I don't think it's gonna make it past the next round.
Probably not.
But it's a fun movie.
Don't call it shitty.
It's fun shitty.
That's disrespectful.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Killer Clowns. Killer Clowns.
Unbelievable.
That's such a good matchup, though. Those are like quintessential Halloween.
I'm blown away. Exorcist versus Creepshow 1. This is tough.
Out of the, but I still to this day will sit and think, if you hold your breath. So like, it has to be Creepshow. I think about Creepshow probably once a day still, and we watched it forever ago. The Exorcist is a great movie, and it was entirely shocking. Again, all these movies are so shocking to me. It was a fantastic movie, but Creepshow was so memorable. I'm voting Creepshow.
For me, it's a real toss up. I'm really nostalgically attached to Creepshow
Mhm.
1 and I think that when it's an anthology, I think the stories that work really well.
Yeah,
But because there are stories that don't work super well, I can't put it above The Exorcist.
but here's
The
the thing.
Exorcist blew me away.
Hold on. There are parts of The Exorcist that blew you away, but there were parts that also.
I think holistically Exorcist is the better movie. I do.
All right, well, you got a coin flip because I'm not moving.
You're
I'm
sticking.
gung ho.
There's nothing I can say to sway. Exorcist
think
was
so.
incredible.
It was very good, and I will watch Exorcist again, but I cannot stop thinking about Creepshow.
Okay, so
I can't stop thinking about it.
we have our first coin flip, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm scared.
We're doing best 2 out of 3. Natalie, I will let you call it. Creepshow, what is it? Heads or tails?
It's gonna be tails.
Creepshow is tails. Exorcist is heads.
Scared. I won the last coin flip.
1 point for
That's
Exorcist.
not good. That's not a good start, boys.
1 point for Creepshow. And The Exorcist takes it.
And you know what? I'm not sad about it.
I love Creepshow with all my heart. Everyone needs to go watch it.
It was
But
so good.
I think The Exorcist.
And I'm not mad.
I'm not mad either. I hear you.
It's
right?
a good movie.
Jimmy is saying Exorcist, of course. WTF, dude? Go watch Creepshow.
Seriously, Creepshow
Okay?
is so good.
I guarantee you haven't seen Creepshow because
But The
Creepshow is a good ass
Exorcist is
movie.
also good. Creepshow is so.
It's a good ass movie, dude.
It's so surprising. Don't let the first like blurb of the little boy fool you. That very first part's kind of lame with the dad who's like super abusive.
And even the first story isn't that good. It's one
No.
of the weakest ones.
Mhm.
But if you can make it past those,
There are like 3 gems.
yeah, it's pretty awesome. Antlers versus Halloween Kills. So, I think the only reason Halloween Kills won the last round is because we were kind of grouping it in with Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
I urge you to just. I don't think we should do that for this one, right?
What?
It should be just Halloween Kills versus Antlers.
Yeah.
We're not. Are we grouping
No.
Halloween Kills and Halloween
No,
2018?
it's just Halloween
Because
Kills.
they're kind of one movie.
No, it's just Halloween Kills.
Okay.
This is fun that they're both movies that came out this year is what they're up against. And I give mine to Antlers because I did not like Halloween Kills.
I give it to Antlers too. That's not even a question.
No.
Halloween 2018 is great. Jimmy has like a hard-on for Halloween Kills.
Yeah,
I don't
Jimmy,
get it.
weird.
It's not a
and
great
he likes that other fucking stupid movie.
Malignant. I can understand liking Malignant. I can't.
I can't.
I just I don't understand why you like Halloween Kills so much. Jimmy just thinks that if a movie like knows what it is, that automatically makes it good.
He kills.
You know what, dude?
You're right. He do be
It's
killing.
going to the coin flip.
It did win a coin flip.
What
No,
more can you
Antlers
want?
was so much better. 100%.
Evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight.
It's Antlers. Antlers
40
is
years
about to
ago.
get crushed, but
40 years ago.
40 years ago.
Antlers is gonna get crushed.
It is.
You know.
It's gonna get demolished.
I don't even have to say my vote. You know what it is.
Paranormal Activity 3 versus Jeepers Creepers. Dude, for me, it's definitely Jeepers Creepers. Probably nostalgia.
Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done that. Mine's Paranormal. You need to flip a fucking coin because it's
Okay,
Paranormal.
so for this one, I don't really care who wins because I
Shouldn't
think
have
they're
done
both
that.
great movies.
I will be upset.
I love found footage films, and I think Paranormal 3 is a great example of them. But I think Jeepers Creepers is a
I will be
creepier
upset.
movie.
I'm letting you know right now. Shouldn't have done that. Do it. Do the flip.
I'll let you call it.
Do the roar. No, you call it this time.
I'm gonna say Jeepers Creepers is heads. No?
That's the dominant one. Do it. Flip.
Jeepers Creepers is heads. One for Jeepers Creepers.
Oh my god. I want an actual coin.
Jeepers Creepers takes it.
Done that.
I'm so sorry, babe. I know this is one of your favorite horror
That's so
movies of all time.
upsetting. That really hurts my heart.
But we have to live by the coin.
Next. Oh my god! No! Dude, Sinister.
Yikes.
Sinister. You need to flip the coin
Hereditary.
already because it's Sinister. Tyler did rig the coin. I'm gonna go get a real coin because
Do you want to go get a real coin for this one?
I do. I
Okay,
don't trust you.
It has to be a quarter though.
Yeah.
Okay, Natalie's gonna go find a real quarter because she doesn't trust the digital. It's Hereditary for me, obviously. Hereditary is a perfect movie. It's a 10 out of 10 movie. If you look at my Letterboxd, like if you go to my profile, it's literally one of my favorite movies of all time. So for me, it's obviously Hereditary. That being said, my second favorite movie on this entire list is Sinister. So
Sinister is my favorite movie of all time. No questions. It's Sinister.
The chat is pretty split as well. Are you gonna flip it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let you call it. What are you calling for Sinister? You have to actually flip it.
Tails.
Okay, just to clarify, you're gonna flip, catch, and then.
Play on my hand. Yes.
Okay.
I know.
You're saying tails for Sinister.
Tails.
She spilled her beer. She not only fucked it up, but she spilled her beer.
Maybe you should flip it.
Okay.
I lost.
We'll
the
be right
quarter
back.
too.
Hello? Okay, we're back. Is your mic working?
Yes. I'm sorry, everyone.
All right, so you're saying that tails is Sinister?
I don't even want to look. I do, so you don't cheat.
First answer is tails for Sinister.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Fuck my ass.
Show me. Show me. Show me. Show me. Show me. No!
Heads for Hereditary.
Please, 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 please.
I fucked it up. I caught it wrong.
Yep. Reflip.
Okay, we're reflipping. I caught it in between my knuckles, my fingers. That didn't count. Should I reflip? Tails for Sinister.
It deserves it. I'm so happy about
Okay, so
the
part of me,
female Ghostbusters, though. Shipley said if you can't decide, the winner is Ghostbusters, but the female version of Ghostbusters.
part of me is insanely depressed. Most of me is insanely depressed.
I told you guys I wasn't gonna let Hereditary win.
Part of me is a little happy that it's gone because I would not be able to.
No, you would make it go all the way to the end. It's
Hereditary
like if
would win.
Scream was in the
Yeah,
thing.
Hereditary would sweep for me. So
Wow.
on a coin flip, Sinister wins.
That was really stressful.
It's really, really depressing.
You're okay. Next one.
We are on to round 3. Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done that.
We're on to round 3.
Okay. Everybody's
I'm so
upset.
I'm so distraught that that just
I'm
happened.
so happy.
I love Sinister, and I'm
It's so
so
good.
distraught.
It's so good. Should have let the
Fucking
confusion
rigged
aside.
coin.
No. Okay, Get Out and Final Destination. I'm choosing Final Destination 3.
I don't even know. I don't even know what to do here.
Oh, let me check what I gave
I'm
it though.
still reeling, to be honest with you. Okay, so Final Destination 3 I gave an 8 out of 10. Get Out I gave a 7. So I think I have to give it to Final Destination 3. I think it's a fantastic fucking
I
horror
gave
movie.
Final Destination 3 a 10 out of 10.
Jimmy's saying Get Out easy. Listen,
When's the last time you watched Final
listen,
Destination 3?
we're at round 3 here, okay? Besides Antlers, all these movies are great, okay?
It's okay. Guys, we can rewind the stream to the point before they knocked off Hereditary. And now we're going to knock off Get Out. Shipley's just going to leave. He's like, I'm over it.
I feel like I have to give it the final. Dude, this is so tough because
It's hard.
this is the pinnacle of great real movie versus great schlocky movie.
Which I'm always going to pick the schlock. I love
know,
a good schlock
and I'm
fest.
typically always gonna pick the real movie. I
I'm-
feel like I'd rather it go into a coin flip than just fucking give it to Final Destination 3. Because at this point in time, we have no real besides The Exorcist, we have no real
Tyler!
movies here.
These are all real movies. If you can flip the coin, but I'm just letting you know, I'm going to be actually so upset. Yeah.
I'm going to. Okay, I'll let you call it though.
Boy.
Final Destination 3 is
I'll
what?
do heads this time. We'll switch. I'm scared.
Now you know how I feel.
I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Final Destination is what?
Heads.
Okay.
So no head.
Heads. Heads. Final Destination wins.
Wow, I should go like buy a lottery ticket tonight, you guys. Sorry,
Unbelievable.
Shipley.
Shipley in shambles.
I'm sorry, Shipley.
Shipley is in shambles right now.
Come over, we'll watch Get Out.
bracket
We'll give
is
you a
so
big hug.
scuffed.
It's not. I love how this bracket is turning.
We need
out.
to have a third person next time somehow.
We do.
To be the tiebreaker.
Mhm.
Because leaving it to the coin just feels so scandalous.
Yeah, but we can't have Shipley. Obviously, is biased. We can't have Shipley. We can't have Jimmy's room. Can't have Carlos because Carlos said that if a movie is trying to be scary, it's not scary.
Yeah, any
Carlos
movie that
doesn't know
tries to
what
be
we're doing
scary
here.
is not scary. Carlos is so pissed that Natalie's winning for some reason.
Because Carlos hates women.
Yeah, that's true. Trick or Treat versus Killer Clowns.
It's trick or treat.
Yeah, it's trick or. I don't even care.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not even a conversation.
Are you? Oh, I was like, are you just pouty
Oh
now?
no, I mean between this matchup, it's like
No,
not even close.
I
Like
agree.
it's Trick or Treat might take it. So, The
Oh,
Exorcist versus Antlers.
It's The Exorcist.
Obviously The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Jeepers Creepers versus Sinister.
Sinister.
It's Sinister.
Yeah.
I love Jeepers Creepers. Everyone should go see it. It's got great lore.
Yeah, it's
Sinister is a fantastic movie.
Fantastic. It is nearly perfect.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay, so now we're up to the semifinals.
My palms are sweaty. Mom's spaghetti.
The semifinals, it is Final Destination 3, Trick or Treat,
No!
The Exorcist, and Sinister. We start off with a real banger here. Final Destination 3 versus Trick or Treat. What's your pick? Can't spell Shipley without hell.
Oh.
That's so depressing.
Sam. Are you a Samuel Shipley too? Because there's 2 L's in that.
You're trying to avoid the conversation.
I am. I don't want to have it. I gave Final Destination 3 a 10 out of 10. I gave Trick or Treat an 8 out of 10.
But you don't have to go by that score.
I know. I'm just looking.
So I gave Trick or Treat a 7. And I gave Final Destination 3 an 8.
My heart wants to give it to.
I don't know.
Final
I'm completely
Destination.
torn. Final Destination 3 has incredible kills.
Hmm?
It has
It's a funny
It's
horror. It's a
extremely
schlocky
entertaining.
horror, but also Trick or Treat is. But I feel like there's more boring parts in Trick or Treat than there are Final Destination.
I would agree, but on the flip side, Trick or Treat like resembles October.
Nothing makes me feel more ready for the season than Trick or Treat. So
Right,
I
like
think
we are
I'm
talking
gonna
about
give
like an
it to
October
Trick or Treat.
horror
I think
movie.
I'm giving it to Trick or Treat. It's really sad for me because I love Final Destination, but Trick or Treat is Halloween horror.
I'm still so fucked that Hereditary didn't win.
Oh my god.
I don't know for this matchup. I also spelled destination wrong which I'm just seeing now. Destination.
Destination. 3. I
I don't
think
know
I'm
what to
giving it to
do.
Trick or Treat. I think I'm giving it to Trick or Treat.
I would give it to Final Destination. It
Well,
has to be a coin flip again.
Yeah, that's fine because I'm fine with either of these, honestly.
Because and for the sole reason of I honestly think that fuck, I don't know. I think Final Destination
Sam said
might be
if
more
this
entertaining.
comment gets 2 views, Get Out will be revived in the bracket. He's so upset.
Okay, so let me just see something real quick. For Final Destination 3, I gave it a 3 out of 4 for entertainment, and for Trick or Treat, I gave it a 4 out of 4 for entertainment. I think I'm gonna give it to Trick or Treat. I'm torn. Should we just do coin flip?
Yeah, do a coin flip. Well, we both just said we're giving it to Trick or Treat. So I think we have our winner.
Fine.
And are you mad about that? I'm not mad about
I'm not mad. It's just it's a really confusing matchup. Because I really love both of these movies.
But if we flip it, then we're just giving too much. We're not deciding anything.
You're right.
I think
we have to decide.
Making a
You're
choice
right.
that it's Trick or Treat.
You're right. We have to decide.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a Trick or Treat just for theming.
Yeah, same.
That's the
And
only.
that's okay.
That's literally the only edge that it has. Final Destination 3 is a fantastic movie.
Oh,
but
yeah.
At Trick or Treat, I think for the theme.
I mean, we're all taking L's right now. Except Sam, he's taking 2.
The Exorcist versus Sinister.
It's Sinister. I don't even have to think about it. It's Sinister.
It's Sinister for me too. I love The Exorcist, but I think Sinister is just it blends found footage in a way that I really love. I know you're thinking about the finale already.
I'm thinking about the next one already.
Sinister is so good because it actually scared the shit out of me the first time I saw it.
Horrifying.
But The Exorcist is great. It has a great ending, but I have to give it to Sinister.
Yeah, because Sinister is a good movie.
The Exorcist
Carlos,
is a good movie
you're gonna
too.
get banned in like 10 seconds.
We have made our way to the finals.
And it's Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat
Sinister
versus Sinister.
These are like 2 of my all-time favorite movies.
I have to go to the score.
I gave Trick or Treat an 8 and Sinister a 9.
Trick or Treat I gave a 7.
This is really hard.
I know, this is really hard. And Sinister I gave a 7. I gave him the exact same score. I gave him the exact same score. I think that Sinister is scarier. I think Trick or Treat is more Halloween in October.
I think Sinister is the better movie. And Sinister makes me feel more scared, and it is like what I want to be watching during this season. But you're right, Trick or Treat is the season.
It is the season. It's like the best thematic movie. I can't think of a better one.
But I don't feel good calling Trick or Treat necessarily a horror movie. Like we're going off,
it is a horror movie.
If we're going off October, it's Trick or Treat. If we're going off horror, it's Sinister.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely classified as a horror. It's a horror slasher.
Yeah, Sam. Sam said, "Wait, is this the championship?" Welcome to the stream, Sam. Oh, Sam! I love Sam. He is so cute.
It's really tough because I love this movie. I've seen it twice, and both times that I watched it, it really took me by surprise how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It is the October movie, but I think you're right in that Sinister it's scarier. I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
It's scarier. It has better acting. Ethan Hawke kills it.
I think I've decided mine is Sinister. I think I'm choosing it.
And for me, I think it's also Sinister.
We did it!
Which means that our grand winner for the October horror bracket Is
Oh,
Sinister? Question mark. It's Sinister.
yeah.
I don't. I
Why
don't.
didn't it
I don't know
move?
why it's not there on the line, but it's Sinister. That's the grand finale. I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with it too.
If it wasn't Sinister, it was Hereditary. So
Or yeah. Sinister is such a good movie. Every movie we watch, well, not every movie, but almost every movie we watched was fun. Listen, as much as I hated this for the last like 2 weeks, it was really fun.
it was awesome.
It was really fun, and it was fun to do together. I've been dying to get on a with GRose episode, and I got to be in 5, so that's very
This was
exciting.
a blast. I would like to do another bracket at some point.
I think we should do Christmas.
I think a smaller bracket so that we can space it out more. And Christmas is a little bit easy. See, what I think what we found here, especially in this last episode, is and it's part of the reason why I wanted to do this, is that horror is such a vague genre. It
Yes,
includes so many different things.
and so many people have different opinions on like what subgenre they
Exactly. Like
prefer.
each genre has a different tone. You know, putting a slasher up against a real movie,
Mm,
it's very difficult.
it's hard.
And so we tried our best to meet these movies where they're at. And I think for most other genres, whether it be comedy, Christmas, whatever, it's much more straightforward. You know, comedy, is it funny? Is it
Yeah,
not? Christmas, Christmas movies are kind of the same.
yeah,
Um, so it was really interesting and difficult to do this, and it goes to show that in a bracket, not I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to match them up, and there is some luck involved in the matchup
yeah,
process.
sure.
But nonetheless, I think it was a blast.
Yeah, it has a lot of fun.
How did you? What was your? Is Sinister your actual
I
pick?
really think that Sinister was my pick to win.
Like if you had, like if you got to pick a winner, obviously mine would have been Hereditary.
Sure. I think if I had to pick a winner, it would have been Trick or Treat or Sinister. So the fact that they were both at the end is like very
You
good.
got lucky with two coin
I
flips. You got
did.
two
I
really
did
lucky
get
coin
two
flips
really
today.
good coin
And
flips.
coincidentally, right when you grabbed the quarter, isn't that so strange? That I was winning the coin flips
Hmm.
on computer, and then we grabbed the quarter, and all of a sudden Natalie's winning the coin
You know, this
flips.
quarter came from the Disney jar, so there was a little bit of magic on it.
Sam said, "How about a bracket, but only the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies?"
Oh, interesting. Sam, why don't you do that one with Tyler? Because that does not sound fun for me.
Carlos is still just so aggro.
Carlos.
Everybody, thank you for joining us. It
Yeah,
was
so
truly a pleasure. I
fun.
look forward to rewatching these years from now and reminiscing. Um, Thank you. I
Yeah.
know we're a little bit late. It's November 3rd. We're about to hop into the Christmas season.
We're in the
For
Christmas
those that
season.
watched all of the parts, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're the real ones.
And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye bye.